Hi everyone and welcome to Unit Review. We're your hosts, Jack
and Dan.
Today we're going to be talking about the Canoptek Doomstalker.
Yes, the big spindly boy. Absolutely love this model.
Too tall for his own good.
It's one of the best models in the range, but is it any good on the tabletop?
Yeah, that's true. Let's find out because lots to talk about today on this one.
Yeah.
So Dan, stat block. Walk me through it.
Yes, so it's got 8-inch movement, which is good. It's toughness 8. It's got a 3-up save.
Yep.
12 wounds, tasty. And it's leadership 8, which is okay.
Yep.
It's got an OC of 4, which I like, and it's also got a 4-up invuln, which is big.
It's really nice, the 4-up invuln. I think that when you have that, again, it's like 50-50. Or no matter what the opponent does, you have a 50-50 save in order to make sure.
There is no greater joy than spiking all your 4-ups when your opponent's trying to dump endless las cannons into you.
Definitely. Good stat block, very good start of the unit, and I think it just gets better with the war gear.
Yes.
So war gear, it has the again, I love the names of this this one. The Doomsday Blaster, love it. So it is 48-inch range. It has D6 +1 attacks. Bit spiky, it can swing. But Bliss's skill of +4, strength 14, which is massive. -3 AP and flat 3 damage, which is always nice. Their Terminator's getting removed.
And that's got 2 keywords as well?
Certainly does. It's got the blast keyword and the heavy keyword.
Nice.
So again, if you remain stationary, you're going to be hitting on 3s opposed to 4s. And if it's a squad of 5, you're going to be getting the extra 1 to the
It's real nice versatility, that, And it also has a couple of pea shooters, doesn't it?
It does. Just, I barely even fire these, to be honest. But yes, it also has the twin Gauss flare. There's 24-inch range, 1 attack, hitting on 4s, strength 4, no AP, and 1 damage. It does have the lethal hits, so any 6s automatically go through.
Cool.
Rapid fire 1, so if you're within 12 inches, you get 2 attacks.
Nice.
And twin link, so you're re-rolling the wound rolls. Again, I barely use it. I honestly almost forget. It's really for those chaff units.
The main time I use it is when I'm overwatching, and what will happen is I'll roll no 6s with the Doomsday Blaster, and then I roll a 6 on the and
then it's lethals and goes through. But it's just like, what's the point?
It's
very good stuff. Yeah. And then it also has close combat as well. The Doom, what's it? The
Doomstalker limbs.
Yeah, it's a good name, but they're not very good in combat. So you get 3 attacks of these, hitting on 4s, strength 6, not bad to be fair.
It's okay.
AP 0 and 1 damage. So again, not bad at all. The war gear, I think it's. Obviously you're bringing it for the Doomsday.
The big gun.
Blaster.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. What about abilities, Dan? We'll start off that.
Obviously, it's got Deadly Demise because it's a vehicle, so it's got it's Deadly Demise D3.
Yeah.
So watch out for that. It's got reanimation protocols for the faction, so you can bring back D3 wounds in your command phase.
Definitely.
It also has Sentinel Construct, which is great.
Yes.
So each time you target this unit with a Fire Overwatch stratagem, hits are scored on an unmodified hit roll of 5 instead of 6. So that is really tasty.
Yeah, man. Like, but bringing that in, because that adds that you can play it in different ways. Normally that 48-inch range, you kind of want to keep it back and kind of keep it in your backfield to kind of shoot away. But bringing it forward and having that threat of a 5+ to hit on a Overwatch scares people.
Yes, and we'll talk about how you can buff that even further in a little bit. But it's tasty.
I like it. So unit composition wise, obviously just the model of you can only bring one of these guys.
Yeah, he's a lonely Doomstalker.
By himself, but he's 145 points as well. So pretty, it's a little pricey, but for what he does, I think it's worth.
The time of recording, he's just gone up by 10 points. He was 135 last week. He went up by 10 points in the data slate, which is, I think, reasonable. Nobody really cried, did the Necron players?
No, I think the Necrons rejoiced when they see some of the changes.
Yeah, I think we all felt that was fair.
Yeah, definitely. Again, for what this guy can do later on, which we'll tell you about, really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. Keywords, Dan, what we're looking at?
So as I mentioned before, he's got a vehicle keyword. He's a walker. He's got the Canoptek Doomstalker keyword as well. But that's it. Nothing to worry about there.
Pretty bland stuff on that one.
Yeah,
but it happens. Cool. The best detachments then. So I think we can both agree on this one that it's the Canoptek Court, right?
By a mile.
By an absolute mile. The benefits that this guy gets from it, it's just unreal. The stratagems that come with it within the Canoptek Court just all add up to this one.
The main thing for me, the strats are great, but the first thing to talk about is re-rolls, obviously. So if you're in your power matrix, you get full re-rolls to hit, which on a big swinging gun like that is great. And even if you're not in your power matrix, you're still getting re-rolls of 1s.
Yeah.
So the detachment rule really, really synergizes very well with this.
I mean, strength 14 means that you kind of wound roll that you can be getting through typically going to be 3s, if not 2s, in the majority of times.
Yeah, if you're targeting anything like a light vehicle or lower, it's going to be 2s, and then even a Land Raider is on 3s, so it's good. Really
very
good.
Nice. Very good stuff.
And I think there's... we'll talk about this again a little bit later, but there are probably better options in other detachments for anti-tank. He's very, very good in Canoptek Court, but without those synergies, he's a little bit less.
It's true, yeah. With no synergies, you probably want to take like the heavy Locust destroyers or the Doomsday Ark. You know, they're the ones that have got big guns in other detachments.
Yeah, we've done videos on both of those recently, actually, so you should check them out.
Definitely. Cool. So let's talk about the stratagems then, because this guy has a lot of flexibility when it comes to the stratagems. You can use a lot of different ones to do a lot of different things. Do you want to start off with the first one?
Yeah, I mean, this one makes your opponent cry. It's called reactive subroutines. This is 1 CP. It's a Canoptek Court stratagem.
Yep.
Use it in your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move. If that enemy unit is within 9 inches of your Doomstalker, your Doomstalker can make a normal move of up to 6 inches.
That's nice.
Now, so where this comes in really useful is if your opponent is bringing something close to charge you. Be aware that it doesn't synergize with deep strike. When you deep strike, you have to be outside of 9 inches. And this only works specifically if your opponent moves a unit within 9 inches. So be aware of that, but otherwise it's a great strat.
It is a very good strat because again, it's like it's almost it's hard to say, but it's almost like one of those gotcha moments. But and like I don't want to tell the opponent that during the game because there's so many gotcha moments. But it's like one of those mini gotcha moments, I would say, where you move in, it's like I'm going away. Fuck this. I'm out of here. And it just kind of prevents that charge because you do want to keep this unit alive, really, and it's really good. Now, I've got a really good way of playing with this later that I'll tell in how to play this unit best. Just because I think there's 2 ones you can kind of combo well, which really punishes the opponent, which I really like. But for now, we'll move on to the next one, the counter-temporal shift. So I really like this one. It's a 1 CP again in the Canoptek Court. This happens in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target. You target 1 Canoptek unit from the army, which is obviously this is the Canoptek guy. What happens is until the end of the phase, you can this unit can be selected as a target of a ranged attack if it's outside of 18 inches.
Within 18 inches.
Within 18 inches. Oh, sorry, apologies.
Yeah, if you're outside of 18, you can't shoot it.
Yes,
basically.
Got you.
It's like pretty much gives it what used to be lone operative, isn't it?
Yes.
Bear in mind, they've just changed this in the data slate. It used to be your opponent's units had to be within 12 inches, and they've changed it to 18. But the reason why this is still good for the Doomstalker is because most of the time it's still going to be further than 18 inches away, isn't
it? 48 inch range, so it's going to be outside of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good to keep an eye on.
So between the 2 of those, you can keep it safe from shooting attacks or most shooting attacks, and then you can keep it safe from a charge as well.
Yeah,
it's very strong.
It's very good, and it's got a little bit more flexibility in what it can move around in. You want to talk about the next one?
Yeah. So if you do want to take it in other detachments, it does synergize in some ways with Hypercrypt Legion.
Yeah.
One of their strats, which we talk about a lot, is Cosmic Precision.
It's such a good one.
Yeah,
it comes up in a lot of our videos because it's so good.
This is the 1 CP strat where you can deep strike just outside of 3 inches instead of 9, or hyperphase outside of, I should say, because he hasn't got deep strike keyword.
True.
But that is very, very useful.
Yeah.
So if you are taking him Hypercrypt, think about that. Because he's a lone model, while he does have quite a chunky base on a 90mm base, but he can still fit him in,
most places,
most gaps.
especially the 3-inch kind of rule side of things. It's really good. You'll get him in a very good spot, and again with his range, you don't have to worry about getting like too close. But it's like I think it's really good for those units where you're like, right, I need to take down that unit or like a blob of Terminators.
If you need line of sight, then it's a great strat to enable that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's it. Like units are there. Sound like a callous general here, but units are there to die. You just need to trade. You just need to trade well, don't you?
Yeah, you're just like, I don't care about my units.
I'm sorry, little fella.
I don't want to fight in your army.
But yeah, that's it. Like you said, if the Terminators strategically, you need to move to take out a unit of Terminators to stop them scoring some points or taking out something else of yours. Then you deep strike him in. You shoot the hell out of them, and if he dies next turn, he's done his job.
It's true. Yeah, true. It's like
good.
Yep, I love it. Cool. Next one then. Last one is the Protocol of the Sudden Storm. So it's in your movement phase. So you select 1 Necrons unit from your army. So until the end of that turn, range weapons equipped by the model have the Assault ability. So I really like this because comboing, I mean, he's already got what's his movement again? It is an 8-inch movement.
Yes.
So that's already pretty decent. So getting that extra maybe 6, 5, whatever,
it's all about that line of sight again, isn't it?
Exactly. Get him in the right spot for the right targets, and kind of the opponent sometimes and I love when you see your opponents pre-measure when you've got this ability, because they pre-measure. They're like, right, you can't come in this way. And again, it's almost like that gotcha moment where it's like, oh, you're right, I can only move 8, but I've now got the assault keyword, so I'm going to move those extra inches to get in the right position. And
that one's
nice.
In the Awakened Dynasty, isn't it? Which is
yes, correct.
We do see some. We'll come on to this in a minute, but you does see a little bit of play in that detachment as well.
It is. I mean, because again, with that detachment, you get the +1 to hit when you're being led in that unit.
Yes.
So it's always nice.
Yes.
I do like it.
Yes.
Cool. Right, next topic then, the how best to play this unit. Dan, do you want to start off with this?
I can do, yeah. I mean, the first one I think is, as you mentioned here, like zoning and screening this unit in your back line.
Yeah.
So if an enemy comes in deep strikes in, you've got the Overwatch ability hit. As you said before, you're hitting on your 5s. Your deployment zone is always your power matrix, so you're getting full rerolls. So your Overwatch can become quite good.
Yeah.
For 1 CP, if you can take down 2 or 3 Terminators, that's serious.
It just makes them punish.
Yeah. And if you spike your rolls, you can take 5 out, which is
so good when you roll the dice and you get like the 6+1. You're like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna at least get a few through. And I again comboing it with the reactive subroutines. Where if they move within 9 inches, then you basically move your guy 6 to get without the charge range, and then combo that with the Overwatch stratagem. It just really makes them pay.
Yeah, so if they've walked up the table and you've been shooting them, and they finally get to the point where they can charge into your deployment zone, and they're within 9, then you just go. If you've got 2 CP, you can go, well, I'm going to move 6, so you can't charge me, but then I'm also going to Overwatch you.
Correct, exactly. It's because that still happens all in the same time, in the same phase. So it's just like that like, oh, I'm sorry, guy, but they're gone. They're going to be useless this turn again. So really like seeing that one.
Yeah, that is a really nice little strat combo. I love it.
It's good. Pricey, but good. Next one, go super aggressive. I really like this one. I like maybe having like 2, maybe 3 of these ones, and then just moving them up the field with the rest of your units. These guys, give really good. Really good movement, really strong, so they can stand alone. But moving them up the board with the rest of your army, just to apply that added pressure of extra shooting. And then if a unit's going to be charging some of your other units that are close by, well, you can Overwatch with 24 inches hitting on 5s. I just feel like they've got so much firepower and they've got so much versatility in terms of what they can do up the field. You can do that. You can bring them forward. Although the range is 48 inches. If you've got enough of them, scare your opponent, make them back off, make them hide. So, I like the idea.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think although the points of Wraiths have gone up as well, one of the strengths of Canoptek Court was that Wraiths could typically hold the mid-board objectives to mean that the No Man's Land was your power matrix as well.
Yeah.
So even though when you move these guys, you're hitting on 4s instead of 3s if they stand still. Yeah. But with the re-rolls, that kind of makes up for it. So if you can synergize those, I think that's really, really strong. Yeah. Because like you can just mid-board bully then, like you said with the Overwatch.
It's so good.
Yeah. Because your Wraiths are there and you're like, right, I'm holding the mid-board, come and get me. And then you move your Doomstalkers up there, and then when your opponent tries to shift the race, you're damaging them.
Not even in the charge phase either. If the opponent just moves on the objective whilst you're kind of watching over it, if you Overwatch whilst you move, you can do it in the moving phase now, which I think I keep forgetting that, to be fair. It's just so good. It's just punishing the players
very, very
for being
strong.
Aggressive. It's really, really good. Next one, Dan?
It's one of those, I was just going to say, it's one of those tactics that we really like here, where it forces your opponents to make a hard choice. I need to clear those Wraiths off those objectives. Yeah. But if I come up here, I'm going to get shot. You're going to make them bleed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you've got to take them out, and if you don't, you're going to get punished quite a lot.
Yes, and we have just touched on this, but I think really, really do remember this. People often use these just for anti-tank because it's a high-strength weapon, as you said. But remember, blast. Yes. So if your opponent is bringing big bricks of anything like 10 Custodies or 10 Terminators, whatever, you're going to get a lot of shots off into these.
I mean, flat free damage, that's a Terminator gone. Yeah. Which is very scary for them, but very good for us.
Yes, it can really, really make a big difference. And it synergizes well with what you were talking about before with bringing it into that mid-board area and really owning No Man's Land.
I love it. Perfect stuff. Next one.
Good. The next one I was thinking about was units that synergize with it.
Yep.
So the Reanimator can obviously bring back wounds.
Yes.
So particularly if you're talking, whichever way you play them, I guess. So if you're doing 3 at the backboard and you can get unless you've got 2 close together, the reanimator's only going to help one of them. But this is 145 points. The reanimator's 70 points. So basically, if the reanimator gets 2 or 3 turns of putting wounds back on this, it's paid for itself.
It's so good,
and it just adds another layer of resilience on top of what we were talking about with those strats earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I completely agree. And again, like with the reanimator, you can kind of hide him.
Yeah.
Tuck him in the corner so he's untargetable.
Yeah.
And then have that guy in the open just destroying people.
Yeah, come at me, bro.
Yeah. Literally, I want to see you. I want you to shoot. I want you to do it. I love it. It is very good.
You can run a spider. Spider gives them 6 up, feel no pain. I think the reanimator's perhaps better choice there.
With the reanimator's better. Yeah.
The only if there's a lot of mortal wounds in your meta, the spider gives them a 5 up, feel no pain against mortal wounds from psychic attacks.
Yes.
So if you're facing Thousand Suns, if your best mate plays Thousand Suns all the time, then take the other.
And I think the reanimator is also in a Canoptek unit as well. So
yes,
they'll get more benefits
with all
exactly. Yeah. So I would definitely go lean more towards the reanimator. Although I love the spiders and I love the model.
It's a great model. I'm just struggling to make it work in this.
Especially how they've also removed a lot of the stuff with the scarabs. Can't really do very many actions now. It's kind of like, that unit's probably also going to drop off as well, which sucks because I love the unit.
We should make a video about spiders.
We should because I've got 3 of them and I love them.
Yeah. What's next then?
Pool. Cool. Even. The next one is the Death Star. Now I really like this one. So in the Awakened Dynasty, you can run 2 of these with the Technomancer, with the
Phasal Subjugator.
That's one. The enhancement.
It's the one that gives them +1 to hit. Basically makes them.
It's like an aura.
It's like an aura that they're being led, because obviously you can't attach a character to the unit.
Nope.
But the Technomancer can. With that enhancement, can give them the +1.
Just kind of moving up with them kind of thing. You could also whack them in like a blob of warriors just to even protect that, for snipers and such.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you might need to protect your Technomancer or move him in a way that he's
got plenty of movement to kind of get around, doesn't he? So you can tuck away, hide away. But yeah,
so
that's
I like that one. And the Technomancer also can put wounds back in the movement phase on.
Yes. I'll have to double check if it's just the unit or if it's next to someone. I'm not too sure about that one.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's.
I'll pop it on screen.
I'm pretty sure it's when it's. I'm 99% sure it's whatever. I think it's like it's something that's within close to it. I think it's within 6, but we'll double check. And there is another Death Star one. Again, this is a little bit easier to run now because of the changes to movement rules about how you have to kind of squeeze through gaps in between terrain or whatever.
Yes,
but it's running 3 of them in a Death Star with the Silent King because he's given them rerolls to reroll the ones to wound.
Yeah.
So if you're in Canoptek Court, you're getting your rerolls to hit or reroll 1s if you're not in your power matrix.
Yeah.
And then you're getting some rerolls to wound. If you wound on 2s and 3s, then being able to reroll 1s is quite good.
It's really good. It's really good.
So yeah, I'm not sure about that one. We talked about this before, but the time of recording, the Silent King in my book is still a little bit too pricey still.
He is, yeah, and it's just like for the Rune rules are fantastic ability, but like again, it's just like the rest of his stuff that he does. It's just I don't know how to play him. But like he doesn't fit in any of my lists.
If I was running that Death Star, I'd be running a Reanimator as well.
Yeah, just for that added,
and possibly a Technomancer.
Just for the double safety. This double safety net.
But it's an interesting one. I think in a casual game, I would like to play it. I just want to get the king on the table just for fun.
I've spent time painting it, and it's got like really cool base. I want to play my Silent King, but he's just not there. Maybe we should do a video on that one as well.
Yeah, we definitely should. Yeah,
just to try and promote. Like, look, it's an okay model, but not very many synergies.
It's not a great unit, and it's okay, but it's difficult to make it work in this edition at the moment.
For the points wise, for sure.
Good. In terms of how to fight against this unit,
see, we struggled with this, didn't we?
Well, because of all of the abilities and the buffs and the synergies and the strats that it's got, there are, as you mentioned, they're almost like gotcha moments. So whatever your opponent tries, you have a tool.
You've got a card for it. You're just like, my trap card. Completely agree. I think the only one we've kind of really mentioned, the slight 2 ones, is the obviously melee. You've got to get it in combat. So maybe use some really fast units to get in his face, get past the 9-inch subroutine thing, just to get past it to then secure an easy charge. That's the only real way.
Fundamentally, you need to make a charge out of Deep Strike with something punchy and melee that isn't going to get hurt by Overwatch, which is a lot of boxes to tick.
Yeah,
so you're looking at things that can hurt it, and that aren't like expensive elite infantry, which is a difficult kind of niche. Yeah, but it can be done.
An elite infantry, a blob of Terminators, that's gonna be like 300 points.
Yeah.
Because you'll obviously have a HQ involved in them as well. Whereas this is only 145.
Yeah.
So that difference, and considering he'll overwatch them for sure on 5+, you're going to lose a few termies before these goes down. So you'll probably drop like 2 termies.
It comes back down to making your charges, doesn't it? So if you're outside of 9, like you deep strike in, or you just stay outside of 9, so you can't use reactive subroutines, then you've got to make a 9-inch charge. You're probably going to get overwatched, and if you don't make your 9-inch charge, you are out in the wind, and he's going to shoot you again.
He's going to shoot you. Yeah. So probably move away from you.
Yeah.
With 8-inch move. If not, you could run as well to get even further away to secure even more shots.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I mean,
could try and bleed the CP from the opponent. Maybe try and make your opponent forget. All right, you have enough CP. Right, maybe let's tempt you with Overwatch over here.
Yeah.
Opposed to you doing it over here.
And the other thing is if your opponent, like we've just talked about, they're running multiple of units in Canoptek Court because it's the best anti-tank option. So if your opponent's got 3 of them, they can only protect 1 with reactive subroutines or counter-temporal shift. So you can bait
apply the pressure.
Bait it out on 1 unit and then shoot another one.
I like it. I like that.
But conversely, if you one tactic you can do is like you could allow your opponent, if you're a gambler, you could allow your opponent, say, to put 1 Land Raider into this and then let it take the wounds, and when it gets down to like say it gets down to 4 or 5 wounds, then you can play the strat so nothing else can shoot it, and that can then force your opponent to scream in anguish because So there's ways that you can also bait that back.
That's true.
But it is it can be CP heavy, and excuse me, unless you've got CP generation in your army, you've got to just watch yourself that you're not using too many CP.
Yeah, like bring like Imhotep, the Stormlord, he'll like generate 1 CP in your command phase extra, so having 2 CP in a turn. Nice. Yeah, really good.
So and I think the other one is hide. I mean, unless. While it does have 8-inch movement, unless it's in Awakened Dynasty or Hypercrypt Legion, it doesn't have the ability to move more than 8 inches to get line of sight.
It's true. It's true. And obviously, if you get into combat with other units as well, then obviously you can't shoot at you.
Yeah.
You can shoot at you and obviously in Overwatch, but if you get in there and then once you're in there, you're kind of safe.
Yeah.
So I like it. Yeah.
Good.
Do you ever use it much in your army?
In Canoptek Court, it's an auto include. I've got 2, and I'm just by chance in the buy sell group I was in. Somebody came up with a 3rd one that's not a legit. It's not legit GW, but it was only a 5er. So I was like,
hiss.
Yeah. So I bought it to it's China Customs, and I just bought it because
it's cheap.
It's cheap
and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful. A 3rd one, but I do like it a lot. I'm a massive fan of it for all the reasons you just talked about. Canoptek Court still the you do like Hypercrypt, and you're running Annihilation Legion.
Yeah, so
in either of those, would you run it?
I don't really typically use them because, again, as we mentioned very briefly before, the Locust Heavy Destroyers
are so good in Hypercrypt.
Well, they synergize better in the Annihilation Legion.
And in Annihilation,
they're Destroyer cults.
The strats, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So they benefit a lot more than those ones. So whereas he's a very good model, and again, he can stand alone in a lot of other detachments. They're just better synergies with the Annihilation Legion with the Heavy Destroyers.
Yeah.
And the Awakened Dynasty, typically, then instead of bringing him, I bring the Doomsday arc instead because he's just
massive fan of that.
More. He's just tougher overall. So although he's very good primarily in the Canoptek, I just don't really use the Canoptek one myself.
100%. If it's Canoptek Court, these all the way, at least 2, probably 3.
Yeah.
Because of the versatility, because they can kill Terminators. At a push, they can kill Marines and 2 wound infantry, but you really want to be putting them into 3 wound and higher stuff, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
But they've got the strength. They've got the strength to punch an AP to punch through vehicles and tanks, and they've also got the ability to take down those elite infantry. So we love you, little fella.
Keep on doing your thing.
Yeah,
love it. Perfect. Well, I think that's the entire unit, right?
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe, share it around, and we did put this out to the wider Necron community on Facebook and social media to ask them some ideas about how they use Doomstalkers.
Yeah.
So we'll run your names on the screen. If you haven't done already, we'll do it now. But thank you again. If you've also got any ideas specifically for units that you want to see as a review next, then just let us know in the comments.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Thank you.